Suspend the regular order of business on House Bill 2071.
I wonder if Mayor Turner's ears were burning as the Texas Senate weighed in on the dubious affordable housing projects his housing authority has approved like popcorn.
Welcome to the Houston Housing Authority.
Taxpayers were kept in the dark about the financial details, often even the names of the developers we were giving the tax breaks to.
And we need it now.
But there was last-minute drama on the House floor. Supporters of reform claimed big money from developers were buying last-minute lobby help.
I'm humbled by the opportunity to serve as your speaker.
The former Speaker of the Texas House, Dennis Bonnen, had already tried to block reform. Lawmakers pointed to the wife of Speaker Pro Tem Charlie Guerin as another last-minute lobbyist. It exposed a real flaw in sausage-making transparency. Lobbyists can hide their involvement in lobbying in a certain bill for up to 5 days. Critical in the final days of the legislature. The governor's office had reportedly threatened to veto if the bill wasn't watered down.
Let's decide that we're not going to be voluntarily held hostage by the Senate. They might disrespect us, but they should expect us.
By doing that, Representative Harold Dutton was opening the door for 2 more years of abuse, taxpayer ripoff. But he lost that fight.
All members voted. They've been 115 ayes and 20 nays. This House concurred with Senate amendments.
The House voted 115 to 20, enough to put the law into effect by June 1st when the governor signs it.
I know everybody is tired of hearing about PFCs. I'm tired of talking about PFCs.
Dutton was one of 5 Harris County lawmakers who would vote no.
You're okay with apartment owners buying a property like that and wiping out their taxes and not have to reduce anything on the income side?
Ms. Gervin Hawkins, for what purpose?
Parliamentary inquiry.
Please state your inquiry.
San Antonio lawmaker Barbara Gervin Hawkins seemed more worried about all the current real estate developers than the tax money that's been lost, suggesting a delay in reform until September. We know the Houston Housing Authority has approved dozens of new deals, knowing the end of this tax giveaway was near.
And you want a project that can be successful. No one wants to build something that fails.
Well, they can go get private financing. The taxpayer shouldn't have to foot the bill to create these projects when there's no benefit to the taxpayer.
This whole thing is a scam, and we've known it's a scam for over a year.
We've helped ruin the party, but a lot of damage to our financial future in Houston has already been done.
In Harris County alone, a total of $2.1 billion in property value has been removed from the roll since this issue came to my attention.
How can you possibly justify that? Laurent Snowden is the chairman of the unelected group of bureaucrats who've violated our trust, creating little help for lower-income families while taking billions of property value off the tax rolls. Nowhere in the state has the blatant misuse of funds been greater.
Because the fact of the matter is, this was one of the most abused programs in the history of property tax exemptions in the state of Texas history, and this is overdue and needed reforms.
What we witnessed in Houston the last few years simply had to be stopped. You know what you're doing. You're stealing from our children. And I, for one, think you're all thieves. You're stealing from our children. We've called it every name in the book. A racket, bait and switch. One of the biggest gravy trains since that dog food commercial first ran.
Hi, honey. What's for dinner? I'm starved.
Gravy train.
Gravy train?
This is new accountability. This is new reporting and guardrails that applies to all the properties.
They're going to have to prove they're actually doing it.
Correct.
Fort Bend lawmakers were key to this fight. What started as a way to help charities build affordable housing quickly became a way for a few private developers to cash in with the help of political connections.
Listen, I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Excuse me. Nope. Excuse me. Put it away. Put it away. What? Put it away. Don't grab my microphone like that. What's wrong with you? It's called assault.
The former chairman of the Houston Housing Authority and the wife of County Commissioner Rodney Ellis made millions.
This is hurting our schools. This is hurting our counties and our cities. This is being taken from our fire departments, our police departments, our neighborhood schools,
It would virtually end the acquisitions of existing apartment complexes. The controversial Deerwood project would likely never have happened under this new law. It will kill most new acquisitions of existing apartments.
If they are approved afterwards, they would have to comply with the language that, as a body, we're agreeing, almost supermajority, that there needs to be additional transparency and accountability around these programs.
60% of future tax savings would have to be used to create affordability. And what may be the biggest change? Developers would have to get approval from elected officials going forward. The power will be taken away from HHA.
Bureaucrats at the Houston Housing Authority make decisions that the elected officials should be making. Not just for the city, but they make decisions that affect the school district and the county and every other taxing district in between. The process is totally out of control. It has to be stopped.
None of what's happening now can turn the clock back. The HHA has already taken $74 million annually off of our tax rolls. 75 to 99-year real estate deals that will cost us billions over the next decades. Dozens of those deals were rushed towards completion even while the legislature was in session. The HHA had to know the party was ending.
Well, first of all, I'm excited. This has been a long time coming.
Freshman lawmaker Mano D. Ayala ran for office in part because of the taxpayer abuse he was watching unfold in the name of affordable housing.
We haven't been doing that, and we haven't been providing any real affordability or meaningful affordability for the enormous tax breaks that we've been giving out.
We deserve better. We deserve transparency. We deserve to know what's happening in our neighborhoods.
It was folks on the west side of Houston who helped raise the alarm bells with us, holding rallies. HHA meetings packed as West Side residents complained about the loss of tax money from single apartment deals like the one at Deerwood. It was approved while neighbors were kept in the dark.
Let me just give a shout out to the communities in Houston that stepped up.
And Wayne Goldstein is exactly right. You're railroading all this through, not giving any residents. Did you notify any of the residents about any of the things you're talking about right now?
A group called Texans for Property Tax Reform was created, and they helped win this victory.
This legislation does stop the abuses we've seen primarily in the Houston area.
We already had sparked a review of the tax breaks by the appraisal district. But the law had no punishment for cheaters. And we found evidence some developers weren't providing even half of their units for affordable housing as promised. The new law would change that.
They have to do audits on an annual basis. And now, if they're not doing what they promised to do, they risk losing the exemption altogether.
But the final legislation will let the developers do their own audits. Bad idea. A backroom deal will favor developers who build new projects from the ground up. The real estate deals can still get up to 60 years of a property tax giveaway. That's too long. Lawmakers have decided to spend the next 2 years studying the tax implications of this mess that we've allowed to happen. Maybe they should just watch some of our past reports. We've already told them the numbers from the HHA housing racket we've exposed.
City of Houston didn't put this in place. The state
city approved it.
Let me finish. You've made your comment. The legislature is the one that put this vehicle in place. The legislature set the rules, and the legislature certainly has the power to correct them. Okay?
You don't have to do it.
Thank you.
Exactly. We didn't have to take advantage of this housing gaping loophole. The mayor let it happen. Texas lawmakers knew it. Because if the mayor wanted to stop the housing authority,
if the mayor wanted to stop it, he could stop it like that.
Mayor Turner knew 3 years ago the damage being done to the city's financial future. He only stopped more deals in March of this year. We've already caught developers cheating on current projects. The DA's office reviewing criminal complaints. The FBI has been investigating. The party may be over for some developers and their special friends, but here's a message to the rest of the folks we'll be watching.